Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. So before you get into it, I just want to put the word out. I am looking for more guests for my podcast. So if you know any guys who would like to be a guest, please let them know that I'm looking for them in the daylight with a flashlight. So if you know anyone that's interested, or if you yourself are interested, please send me an email to the CEEasefire Podcast at gmail.com and let me know a little bit about yourself. Tell me your name, your age, and maybe some topics that you're interested in talking about. And if you don't have any, don't worry, I got plenty. Unfortunately, I'm only looking for men right now, but ladies, be not discouraged. I got something for y'all coming real soon. Thanks, guys. I love y'all so much, and I hope you enjoy today's episode of the CEEasefire Podcast. Hello, and welcome to the CEEasefire Podcast, where we love Black men, and we believe that Black men love us. And to love someone is to hold them accountable so we can build each other up and grow together. I am your host that does the absolute most, C. And with me today is my very, very, very special guest, my longtime friend and singing partner, the one, the only, Armand. Woo!
Hey!
Armand, and thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so if you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe if this is the type of content that you would like to hear more of. But if you are not new to this, because you're true to this, allow me to express my absolute gratitude to you. I love you, and thank you so much for your support. Also, please, when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I upload new episodes. And I don't have to harass y'all and send y'all a million text messages. Thank you. Okay, so today's episode is going to be really, really, really good, or really, really, really bad, depending on the person. So before we get to that, though, as usual, I want to start with picking Armand's brain and getting his thoughts, opinions, anything from the topic of last week's episode, which was Derek Jackson, that whole thing, but also like why it is that you think he's so appealing to Black women before all that went down.
Well, number one, I'll say that the man is smart. He's appealing because he's smart. Sienna, you have your MBA. So correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. When you're starting a business, the first thing that you look at is, where is there a need?
Yes.
If you find a good enough need, the people will flock to it. Mm-hmm. So the man just a good marketing strategy. That's what it is. He could be completely different when he goes home to his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. He could be a completely different person. Mm-hmm. But his business, this is his brand. So of course, he's going to market himself as perfect because that's what his brand is. He's smart. I don't know what else to say other than that. I mean, it's smart. It's a smart business decision. He knows who his audience is.
Mm-hmm. He found a target audience, and it was one he was clearly familiar with from growing up around Black women. And he was like, let me make this work in my favor.
Exactly.
And he did. And again, I just want to say I'm all for anybody, especially a man, that wants to preach accountability to other men, because that's needed. But because people will like completely disregard the message if it's coming from the wrong messenger. So out with the old. If somebody want to rise up and take his place, just be real about it. You know, don't be out here selling a dream.
Right.
Okay, cool. So moving on to the icebreaker question that I always ask. And it is, if men in a perfect world came together and decided, you know what, we're going to start treating women correct. Okay, we're going to do all these things that they've been asking us to do for years. We're going to protect them. We're going to treat them right. We're going to spoil them. That's a big one. What would you as a man want back in return?
Not that this hits too close to home with me being a man that deals with men, but being that Black women in America are extremely patriarchal, white society, Black women are the most looked down upon population here. In turn, that is going to cause lots of trauma, lots of pain. So I feel that when men do start to act accordingly, Black women need to learn to deal with those traumas because we know they have a lot. In order to heal correctly and be able to properly function in a good relationship.
Come on, somebody. Ooh. It's like you told me this already, but I'm just like, yes. Yes.
We need to heal our traumas. We all do. But again, Black women are just, everybody beat y'all up.
Right. We beat each other up. So I totally agree with that. And like I said, that's important. That's necessary because in this hypothetical situation, if a man were to start doing all these nice things for us as women and treating us how we always wanted, if you have not addressed the trauma and healed from it, it's no point. Because you're not going to be able to receive that love, that appreciation, because you can be like, am I worthy? Well, I went through this, so I don't deserve this,
Right.
Do the work.
Do the work.
Do the work. That's my favorite thing to say.
Well, I'll be saying it again.
All right. So, moving on to the main topic of the hour. Bucky seatbelts, people. So, and this topic comes from straight out of the comment section. Okay, I'll be listening to y'all. Let me know what y'all want me to talk about. We're gonna talk about it. Okay, so one of our day one faithful viewers, shout out to her, has asked if we could discuss the role of religion in relationships. All that alliteration, baby. The role of religion in relationship. Oh, and real quick, let me just pause and shout out my shirt. This is a brand. It's called Per Usual. It is a Black-owned, woman-owned, LGBTQIA+ owned business, and I will put all the information for their Instagram page and all that in the description and probably down there so y'all can go and check them out. But they have some really great t-shirts. This is the Pride edition. So I don't know if they have this one right now, but go check them out. The owner is Bree Ellison and I absolutely adore her. Okay, back to business. So the role of religion in relationships. Woo. Okay. So that in and of itself, it's like a loaded question, but it's also a really broad question. So we're going to hit on a few subjects today. But starting off, let's just establish where we are personally, what our relationship is with religion. So I will let you go first because you are my guest.
Well, I broke up with religion. No, I used to go to church. I won't say that I was raised in church because I was never the type to be made to go to church or anything like that. I went kind of because I wanted to. I wasn't forced to go to church, so I didn't go because I had to. I went because I sang in church a lot. Never been a big believer. Now, not a believer at all. I am a Black rarity. I'm a Black atheist. The things that nobody likes to hear. I'm very unorthodox. So yeah, but that's
okay. Come on, Black unicorn. So, myself, I was raised in the church, around the church, under the church, like at the church. I come from a super, super saved family. They incorporate God into everything. We literally have like church programs for Thanksgiving dinner, right? Like before we eat, there's a scripture read, there's a song sang, there's a prayer said, and then we can eat. Like that's how religious I'm talking. In the church Sunday for church, Monday for board meeting, Wednesday for Bible study. We clean the church. My family, we clean the church. We cut the grass at the church. Like I think I was at the church more than I was at home. Okay. But I also remember, because me being the logical, critical thinking person that I am, I remember being in vacation Bible school and questioning the teacher like, that don't make sense. Because if Adam and Eve was first two, where all these other people come from? You know, like I was asking all of those questions from a very early age. I remember getting the answers that was like, because God. Or they'd be like, how dare you question God? I didn't realize it at the time because I was so young, but that was kind of like pushing me away from religion. And when I moved where I am now, I went like on a search. I'm like, oh, I'm grown. I could go to different churches now. So when I'm on a spiritual journey, and I really tried to find those answers in religion, but I never really got them. So I struck out on my own, and here we are. I've taken the positives of Christianity, like, you know, the 10 Commandments, don't kill nobody, don't be an asshole, like, you know, stuff like that. The good
stuff. They've been around forever.
Right.
It's not exclusive to Christianity or religion.
Exactly. So I've taken the common sense stuff and combined it with a bit of spirituality, you know. And that's where I'm at with it right now. But in all honesty, I'm still on this journey. I'm still figuring it out. So I'm very interested to talk about this because even though I'm not 100% like I know where I am with it, I love to hear other people's takes on where they are with it and discuss it. And that's what we're going to do today.
That's what I come here for.
So before we get into like the actual subject itself, I kind of want to ask you, like you said, you're a rarity in the Black community. You are a Black atheist. Ooh. So I want to ask you, like, what are some common misconceptions that you get that's kind of like annoying? It's like, no, actually it's this way.
There are so many. The first thing that comes to mind is, well, you just want to live a sinful life. You know there's a God. You really do believe it, but you just want to be sinful. That's like the number one, like, Second is, well, but where does your morality come from? Because I've gotten to the point now where I don't tell anyone that I don't believe in God. I let them get to know me because you know me. You've known me for 10 years. You know the person I am. I'm likable, just like anybody else. Very likable. And when I tell people, oh, well, I'm an atheist, like, but you're so nice. But you're so sweet. How is that? How?
But you don't wear black golf makeup.
Yes.
How?
That's the third thing. So you're a demon worshiper? I'm like, no, I actually don't believe in demons either.
Right.
So those three things, those are the most prominent. There's many others, but those three are the most common.
Yeah, I remember you posted something on Facebook like that. You was like, "What people think atheists are? They think you eat babies for breakfast, and you just don't believe in nothing."
Yes. Like, so what do you believe in?
Yeah, they exist. It's fine. It's fine. they're normal people, just like you and me. They're among us.
Exactly.
And I like the way, like, you summed it up for me one time in the past. You were like, as an atheist, that just means I believe in one less God than you do.
Exactly.
I like
because
that.
there's about 20,000 God propositions.
A lot.
You don't believe in 19,000 of them. You're an atheist too. I believe in one less than you.
Right. Okay. I like that. I feel like that kind of sums it up, because people really just go everywhere when they hear that word. It's like a trigger word almost. And
It is, especially in the Black community.
Yes, indeed. All right. So, moving on to the role of religion in relationships. Now, one of us is in a relationship. One of us is not. Okay. I am not in a relationship, but I was in a relationship for about 6 years. And at the time, I was like more so on my Christianity side. I was like, I need religion. Blah, blah, blah. And I remember being with my ex and being like, well, can we go to church? Can we go to church? Can we go to church? And he would always be like, oh, I don't got nothing to wear. Or, I don't know. And I remember I used to get so annoyed with that. I would be like, ugh. Well, what we gonna do when we get married? What we gotta do? Because the kids gonna, like, I'm gonna want to take them to church and you not gonna want to take them to church. And I was like, well, what we gonna do? And so I remember really stressing over that. So I kind of want to go into the first obvious question, which is, when it comes to religion in relationships, can two people be on two separate walks and still make it work? So I'm gonna pose that question to you first, and then I'll give my take on it.
Yes. To answer the question, absolutely they can. The biggest problem that I see happening is when the religion that you love so much, most religions, especially Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they teach that you can't be unequally yoked. You should always marry within your religious whatever. It can't work. It absolutely can. It absolutely can. That's just coming from me. Me. Yeah. It's not that serious to me, obviously. I've been in a relationship for 8 years. It's an extremely healthy relationship. He is a Christian, a very devout one, might I add. I don't believe in God at all, but we just kind of have the understanding, like, we just don't talk about it. We just don't talk about it. It's not that big of a deal to me. If he wants me to go to church with him, I don't mind. I'm not gonna get up and shout and all of that kind of stuff, of course, and all of that, but I'm not gonna sit in the corner with my arms folded either.
Yeah.
It can work. It can absolutely work, as long. The biggest thing, let me backtrack. The biggest thing is you not trying to convert your partner to whatever it is that you believe. Right. That's the biggest thing. As long as you're not trying to do that, it's fine. But gotta add, when you're a Christian, most Christians feel that it's their duty to win as many souls as they can, or convert as many people as they can. So you may find a huge problem with most Christians if you're not a Christian. But long story short, yes, it can absolutely work.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and stick a pin in that, because I want to circle back to that whole conversion thing. But to answer that question on my end, do I feel like it could work if people are from two separate religions? I think Well, clearly it can, because it's working for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that just goes back to the basis, which is it depends on the people, right? And it depends
Mm-hmm.
on where they are with their own individual relationship to religion. So, where I am now, I feel like I could definitely date somebody who is super religious as long as they are respectful about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you super religious and I don't know where I'm at on my journey, then if you can respect it and let me figure it out on my own without trying to impose your will on me, or without trying to like shame me or judge me or make me feel guilty or anything like that because I'm trying to figure it out, then it'll work. And you also have to be okay with, once I do figure it out, if it's not exactly where you are, it's somewhere different, you also got to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, if we were to have kids, I feel like that's a discussion that would have to be had too. Like before, right? Before you have kids, before you get married, talk to your partner and be like, listen, this is where I'm at. I'm not going to convert. I don't want my kids to be this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Then that's definitely a discussion that needs to be had.
Yes. But let me add there that because religious people feel that their kids are supposed to be their religion as well. That's something that it's just really hard to get around that. But kids should be taught how to think, not what to think. Teach your kids how to think. If your religion is the truth and you've taught them how to effectively think and how to critically think, if your religion is the truth, they'll get to the truth if they know how to think. So don't worry about it. Just teach them how to think. And that's it.
Exactly. And that's what happened with me. Nobody like taught me how to think. It just like came to me naturally. I was just naturally a logical person. I was like, 1 + 1 is not equaling 2. Okay. And I need to know the right answers. But I will say, that's one thing I admire about one of our mutual friends. She was raised in like a religious household, but one thing she always says is that her mom kind of gave them like, the free will to choose whatever religion they wanted to. She never was like, you're going to church, you're going to believe in God, you're going to be this religion or the other. She just gave them that foundation of God and faith and all of that. And she was like, you know what? Y'all can figure out the rest. Like,
I want to add something there. And I want to say that children, especially before the age of 7, they're going to most likely believe what their parents believe anyway. I feel like if you have parents that are going to church all the time and they're heavy in church and they always talk about it and they're always talking about their beliefs and their life is literally surrounded, as you say, like your family is. You didn't have a choice. Whether you went to church or not, you didn't have a choice. Think about a 2-year-old or 3-year-old surrounded by people that this is all they hear. It's what they're going to believe, that you don't have a choice. So I hear that, I wasn't made to go to church. But if you have extremely religious parents, 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to be a believer in whatever religion that they were too. So
yeah. But like then when you get to that age where you like, the questions seep into your brain. Like no matter how saved and Holy Ghost sanctified you are, I feel like everybody has at some point questioned religion. And the difference is some people will act on it and go off on their own and try to figure it out. But some people will be like, that's just the devil. That's just the devil.
Well, yes, which we can get into that. Like if we to answer the question of the whole subject of this show, say what place does religion have in a relationship? Me personally, I would say it doesn't have a place because religion, especially Christianity, it's not a great model for a healthy relationship. Because if you think about it, and I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that, but if you think about it, the whole thing about it is an abusive relationship.
Ooh.
If you don't want it, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Think about, okay, let's just not talk about God and a person. Let's just put it this way. Mm-hmm. There's a man. Mm-hmm. You have a man. You're mm-hmm. pursuing him, and he tells you, well, I love you. I love you unconditionally. Mm-hmm. But if you don't do A, B, C, D, and E, I'm gonna beat you upside the head every day. Like, you have to do what I'm saying. Like, and I love you unconditionally. Like, this is the best love that you're ever gonna get. So, I mean, why? I mean, it's the same exact thing. So it really doesn't have a place in a relationship because it is a relationship modeled after abuse, codependency, narcissism. What person that deserves respect demands it?
Ooh. And
yeah. So I mean that's just my whole to make it that simple, to make it that short. Yeah. Christians disagree, of course. As a Black woman, the Bible constantly talks about how you can't be a leader. Mm-hmm. You can't talk to your husband this way. You need to be silent before your husband. Like, how is that even reconciled? I don't even know. Yeah. I don't even know how that's reconciled. So, I mean, those are just some key things there that I don't think that it can be modeled. I don't think it has a place at all. So.
Okay. So I feel like I feel like it shouldn't be like a huge thing in a relationship. You know, I feel like there are other things that are more important. You know, like just
definitely, yeah. Yeah. I can't get away from the fact that religion does. We can't take away from religion. Like, I know that religion does important things for people. Mm-hmm. And I would never try to convert anybody at all, ever. But why not take the things that we as humans need? I feel that we get from religion: community, hope, you know, those kinds of things. Why can't we take real world mechanisms to build those things? We can do that. It doesn't have to be, let's go to church. It doesn't have to be that all the time. I mean, I know that people love church. I know, especially as Black people, I know. But there are, like you said, there are more important things. We can do so much more.
That is true. Like, especially the state that the Black community is in. Mm-hmm. I feel like we could be raising money. We could be like spending money within our own community. We could be making our own banks, you know, stuff like that. But I feel like the center of the Black community is a church. And it's not like that with any other community. Like, with white people, it's the bank.
And you're right. You're so right. And there's a lot to unpack there because, I mean, to me, the cornerstone of Christianity, people say love, but it's really fear. Mm-hmm. It's fear. And we already know what fear does to the brain, what fear does to the body. If you're living in a constant state of fear, fight or flight, if I do this, I have this person that sees all I do, all that I think. It's very stressful. We're stressed out because it is. We are. There's so many people that say, you know, this does this for me, it does this for me. I know, but it's stressing you out too.
Yeah. I will say that was very much the case for me when I was like, okay, I need a break. I was like, oh my God, I feel guilty about everything. I feel stressed about everything. I was like, I gotta try something else. Like, I'm gonna keep this foundation, but I'm gonna try something else. But another point that was brought up is that people kind of use religion as an excuse for everything, and that also includes relationships. Like the whole Derek Jackson thing, he was like, I was angry at God, or we didn't have God in our relationship, and that's what the problem was. So you have people that do that, but then you also have people who, and this might mostly apply to older people, but you have people who get married, it's not working out, and instead of divorcing, they'll stay with that person because religion, you know, or they'll like separate from them, but they won't actually get a divorce because religion. And I feel like that's a bit extreme.
It's very extreme. Also, the scapegoat, the whole scapegoat, like, oh, that was just the devil. The devil has been busy. Like, that is just such an easy way out of being accountable for your actions. Like,
or saying, God know my heart.
Yes. Like,
honestly, I think my main issue with religion is organized religion, like the politics of it all. So I just want to clarify, that's what I'm talking about when I say religion, like the whole, you need to go to church, you need to say this many prayers a day, you need to do X, Y, Z. Anything that's like structured and is telling me how I need to connect with God, or this is the only way to do it, I don't like it. So I think that's why I resonate more so with spirituality. It's not like rigid. It's not like you need to get this crystal because that's why your life is messed up, and you ain't charging in the sun. That's why your life is messed up. You know, it's very like you focused. You know, it's like you need to meditate. You need to do your affirmations, and you need to focus on you, and you need to be a better person all around. Yeah, organized religion is
it's a cancer to the Black community, especially. It just is. It is.
Right. But you know what? I always see these memes. They like, people want to replace God with words like universe and ancestors, and I don't like that. And I'm like,
they cannot separate themselves from their religion, and it's what organized religion has done to people. Like, you hear people say, I'm a Christian before I'm anything else. I'm a Christian, and that's the whole of my identity. I am a servant, I am a slave for God, and that's just me, as who I am. So once you say anything that's differing from their opinion, they're personally offended. Like, they are feel personally attacked, and it's nothing personal. Like, me personally, I can disrespect your belief. I still respect you as a person, like, to the utmost degree. I will respect you as a person. I do not have to respect your belief. And that's just, I mean, I wish people would understand that. It's everyone is not going to believe what you believe, and that does not mean that they're disrespecting you at all. But so many Christians, especially in the Black community, we have all seen them. To go back to what you said, like, when people start to question, when you're a child and you're questioning, how dare you question God, or how dare, we have to ask questions.
Yeah, they should encourage that. If, exactly. Like you said, if your religion is the way to go, and this is something you truly, truly believe in, to the point where you're trying to convert people, you need to have the answers. You can't just, explain stuff away. You can't say, oh, that's because of free will, or, oh, that's because God. You know what I'm saying? I need answers.
All of that. For all, I know this isn't about that, but do we have free will, though?
Do we have free will?
Do we have free will?
Explain.
Because that's something that a lot of Christians say. If the God of the Bible is all-knowing and all-powerful, that means he created this universe and everything here with the knowledge of everything that's going to happen. Meaning he knew all of our decisions already. That's not free will. That means it's been decided already. So we don't have free will. He decided it already. If he created this and it's just how it is, and this is just how he wants it to be, where is their free will?
You know what? I had the same question growing up. I remember sitting in church and I was wondering that. I was like, now wait a minute. We can do what we want to do, but it's already set in stone. What? Make it make sense. And I remember asking somebody at the church about that, and they just spin. I was like even more confused when they were done. I was like, all right.
I mean, everything about it has to be based in you being a decent human, which does not have to do with being a Christian, with being a religious person. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
And honestly, I just feel like if people who were like devout Christians, like that's what they truly believe, if they were like, okay, well, they don't believe what I believe, but you know, I'm still gonna love them. I'm still gonna treat them with respect.
Exactly. They can't though. It's like they can't because I have to win their soul.
Going back to the pen.
I'm worried for your eternal soul.
Maybe I'm selfish because I don't care. Like, if you go to heaven and hell, that's up to you, baby. Like,
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be anyway. You decide. I mean,
right? Because by making it your goal to convert people and to show them the right way and to show them the light, you're really just like getting in other people's business. Like, you in my business. Don't do that.
You're in my business? Yeah, don't do that.
And I think a lot of people are confused when I say stuff like that I'm not really sure about religion, because I love gospel music. I just walk around singing it at the top of my lungs all the time. And you know, we are singers. Well, you a singer. I'm a singer.
You a singer. No, I confuse a lot of people though, because I absolutely love gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the lyrics, not for all that, but I love the sound. It's a nostalgic. It's a I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to it often.
Yes, it's very nostalgic. Like if I'm like sad or having a bad day or whatever, baby, I'll turn on some Mississippi Mass and I might cry.
But people also have to realize that the music is written to be that way. Not to make this about music, but even if there were no lyrics, even if they were talking about the cow jumping over the moon, it would still make you feel better because that's just the way the music is written. But I digress.
Come on, music major. That's true, though. I think just us as Black people, we put a lot of heart and soul into pretty much everything we do, but especially music. And one thing, I just got to say this don't have nothing to do with nothing, but one thing that has always bothered me about religion is people, I see Christians cussing, and I'm just like, especially when I was little, like my family, they never cussed around me. I don't think I've ever really heard anybody in my family, like older people, cuss around me before. That's one thing about my family. They living it right. They saved and sanctified, and they like are dedicated to it. So when I see others drinking and cussing and smoking and doing all these things that the Bible say you're not supposed to do, and then they also are calling themselves Christians, I'm like,
Because mind you, they doing all of that stuff Saturday night at 4 a.m. and then they go to church at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Exactly. And you know what? When I was in college, I kind of expected that out of people my age, like college people. But then I would see, like, I have old co-workers that'll be like, well, you know, like older Black ladies, they'll be like, I'm saved, but I cuss.
And I'm going to let you have it. God know my heart. I try so hard to push this, follow the evidence. Religion, I know it's so important to you, but what evidence do you have for these beliefs? What evidence do you have?
Faith.
And and that's my thing. If it has to be believed on faith, I don't want it. That's not a virtue. Like, there's nothing else in life that we do that with. Literally nothing. When you're sick and you got cancer, you may pray and you may talk about some faith and God healed you, but I bet you're gonna go to the doctor. I bet chemotherapy.
Very that.
We kind of all over the place, but this is what religion will do to you. Because it so heavily permeates the Black being. It does. It's like, it does.
So much so to the point where I pretty much at the top of the episode, I put a trigger warning on this. I'm like, whoo.
And I know it triggers a lot of people. I am a walking, living trigger, and I love it. I have become so accustomed to it. But I lead with love. So, I just have to give people room.
Yeah. I'm gonna start saying to you, I'm be like, what's up, my trigger?
My dad says that all the time. Like, here you go, you Mr. Make everybody mad.
Mr. Make everybody. But there are some men that'll be like, they'll kind of like try to nitpick the clothes that their wife wears. You know, they'll be like, oh, no, you need to dress like a woman of God, or you need to dress like a wife. You know what I'm saying?
Which would like,
right. And I'm like, what is that? What does that mean?
But I see, then that goes back to that whole generalizing thing. Like, there is no one way a wife should be, and that's the problem with religion. It puts everybody in this box. If you're a woman, you're this way. If you're a wife, you're this way. If you're a man or a husband, you're this way. And there is literally 7, maybe 8 billion different ways to be a human now. There's no one way to do anything. As many people as there are on Earth, there's that many ways to be a human.
And there's no two people that are alike. Exactly.
I mean, you'll find someone that has a lot of similarities. I mean, but you're never going to find someone that's living that you're going to be able to check all your marks off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I just feel like, just to put a point on what I was saying, when you are with somebody or when you get married, let's just say when you get married, they like to say you are one, right? And I feel like that's inaccurate. You are one team, but you are one team made up of 2 people.
Exactly.
So always be yourself. Don't, if you feel like you have to change to be with somebody,
yes,
that's a red flag.
And also, if you feel like you need somebody else to even be one, if you feel like you need someone else to be whole, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah. And that's another reason why I kind of feel the way I feel about the role of religion in relationships. I don't think it should be that high, because it's like another thing that's telling the woman in particular what she can and can't do. You know? And I was like, as a Black woman, we get enough of that.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't want a place where I'm supposed to be going to seek peace and, figure out how to love and be a part of a community. Right. I don't want to go there. This place is supposed to be a safe space and be told that as a woman, I don't need to do this. If I do X, Y, Z, I'm going to hell. I'm like, okay, I get enough of that Monday through Friday. I don't want to hear it Sunday in church too. So,
right. But it's science. Like, this is science. If we, where we are evolutionary wise, if it's like all this stuff that people say religion is so great at, it's common sense. It's science. We can't go around killing each other. Yeah. We wouldn't survive as a species. Men can't go around treating women too bad. You got to treat them good enough to where they want to have a baby for you.
Right.
Or else we wouldn't survive as a species. I'm getting too deep into religion, but...
Well, and that's one thing I appreciate about talking to you about these type of things, because you did research. You know what I'm saying? You didn't just be like, I don't like that, so I'm an atheist. You did what I referred to earlier. Like, everything about why you chose this path, and you could answer any questions that anybody had about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I wasn't getting in the whole religion aspect. Like, I would ask the question, but I wouldn't get like a well thought out answer. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that you're very much like researched this, and you was like, this is for me. I know everything that I need to know, and I can answer any questions. I could help anybody, whatever. But it was very much like a you thing.
And to throw this in as well, I had a very great experience with church. I never, because so many people feel like, you must have went to the wrong church, or somebody must have done you wrong and all of that. It was nothing like that. I absolutely loved church.
Mm-hmm.
I love the community of it. I love singing, but I followed the evidence, and that's just what it was for me. Simple.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm the same way. I love, like you said, I love to sing. I love to see people every week at church. Like, hey, how you doing? You know, getting dressed, all of that. Like going and being around people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just love that. Anytime.
But that's a human need. That's a human need, and that's science.
That is so true. And I kind of take an approach to it that's kind of like take the meat, leave the bones when it comes to religion, right? And something that I'm noticing a lot of people our age are doing, they're kind of doing the same thing. You know, they're like, Christianity has its flaws. I love God. I pray. I go to church, blah, blah, blah. But I've kind of tailored my religious experience to me. You know what I'm saying? And I've noticed that most people that I talk to, they don't have like that strict feeling towards Christianity like I did growing up, right? And I'm like, I wonder if that's more and more common like these days.
Listen, it definitely is. Because even though we're 30 or in that whatever, that's on the cusp of, you know, you can be really religious and kind of be in that old school mind frame, or you can be kind of progressive and kind of be getting out and kind of doing your own thing. But I'm big into scientific studies. I'm big into emailing professors who study this kind of thing, social sciences. And the number of religious people in America, especially in the Black community, our age, is decreasing a lot every year. I think it's causing a big problem, to bring it back to relationships, because again, we have that half that's traditional, but we have that half now that is not. And I see us kind of needing the other half, and it won't mix, it won't work because we're just not in the same places. So this conversation is so important because we need to learn to be in the same room and actually get along, get on, and be okay with different opinions.
Exactly. I love that for us as a generation that we're becoming individuals. You know, we're not saying Black people are a monolith. My mama believed in God, my grandma believed in God, her mama believed in God. You know what I'm saying? We like, well, you know, let's kind of challenge that. You know, right. We're breaking generational curses.
KKK membership. My grandfather was in the KKK, his son's in the KKK, my dad was in the KKK, so I'm gonna do it too. And just no question asked, you know, like, no, let's start asking questions. Let's start challenging this and ask, why exactly are we doing this?
Right.
If we were to say that we don't believe in God or that we have serious questions about it, our families, which we need that family, we need that community. We're humans. We have to have that interaction. They're going to stop talking to us, or they're going to feel differently about us. That vibe is going to be completely different. That relationship will not be the same. You know, everyone is going to look at us differently. So we got some work to do. It's way more serious than someone having different religions in the same relationship. You know, it's a very, very, very deeply ingrained. It's just toxic. Let's just say that. It's
toxic religion.
I ain't trying to offend nobody.
And that's, you know what's crazy? Going back to where you were like saying something about us being able to have these conversations with older people who are like really religious and ask them the questions that we want answered. I feel like that's part of the reason why we can't do that, because they're gonna get immediately offended and they're not gonna like listen, you know. And I've had that experience before, which is why I kind of built this platform in a way that I'm open to listen to anybody, you know.
We are where we are now as a human race because we question things. If we had never asked questions, in the Bible it says disease is caused by demons, by spirits. What if we would have never questioned that? Yeah, so just ask the questions. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. If what you believe is the truth, and it's real and it's everything that you say it is, it's going to stand up to questioning. Mm-hmm. There's nothing about the truth that a question is going to dismantle.
That's true.
So where I stand is not, there is no God, which a lot of people may have that misconception about atheism. I never say there is no God. How can I prove that? Yeah. I can't. The same way you can't prove that there is one. I can't prove there isn't one. So where we should stand right now, until we get more evidence, is I don't know.
Right.
Humans don't like I don't know. We don't like I don't know.
For the time being, I'll say I love I don't know. Yeah. I'm just gonna subscribe to agnostic.
Yeah, it's the most honest thing you could ever do.
And so let's talk about dating, like for the single people. The single people who maybe they're on dating apps or they just meeting people in the grocery store or at the park or whatever. Like, at what point do you ask that person, so how you feel about religion? Some people, they put it on their dating profile. They like,
exactly. So you don't even have that.
Right. First off, I love God. He the head of my life.
Yes. So it's extremely important to a lot of people, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I will say I've never really been asked that. And really? I think it's because people just assume it's something about my genetic makeup. Mm-hmm. And the way that I carry myself, because I had like an old lady. Like, I'm that friend that's like, did y'all eat today? Y'all got sunscreen? Like, I'm very...
And you know that's me, Sienna. But that's why people are always knocked off the dresser when I tell them that I don't believe in God, because they're like, but you care so much about everybody. Like, I mean,
right.
Yeah, knock them off the dresser. So I understand. It's a huge assumption.
Yeah, it's very much an assumption. And then most of the time I have to ask the question. I'm like, so would you say that you're religious? So they're trying to answer based on what they think I want to hear.
A very Derek Jackson-like answer.
Yes. Very that. And we're like, oh God. So yeah, single people, my only advice is you have to determine where you at with religion and how important it is to you to find somebody that's on the same path as you. And you have to decide that if you find somebody who's the opposite of you on the religion spectrum, you have to decide if you're going to be okay with that or if you're not going to be okay with that. And you cannot try to convert them. If they decide to convert, it's got to be their own decision. But like, don't try to,
It'll never work. If you're trying to convert somebody, you should have never started dating them anyway, because you don't love them for them.
Speak on it. In a nutshell, you just got to be okay with where they at any given time. And you have to consider, like, if you want a future with them, if you want to raise kids with them, stuff like that. So, yeah, just stay single, baby.
Okay. But no, I love being in a relationship. I absolutely love it. I love to love and love to be loved.
Y'all do.
Hi, everybody.
Y'all do have a healthy relationship. It's a very, very, very healthy relationship. Y'all both fine. Y'all both can cook. I am jealous. So,
Don't make everybody else jealous. Don't be in my DMs. No.
Yeah. Speaking of subscribing, I just want to reiterate. Yeah, I'm looking at my views, guys. I'm looking at them all the time. And my views not matching my subscribers. Pause the video. Look at the views on the last 2 episodes and look at the subscribers. They're not matching, guys. They're not matching. So please just take a second, hit the subscribe button. It's free. You can do it right now. You can multitask. You're a millennial. You got this. Subscribe, please. So, and then when you subscribe, hit the little bell so that you are notified when I post stuff. Because I know y'all tired of me texting y'all. I don't want to be that person that's like, hey, have you heard about the grace? Have you heard about the love of God? Have you heard about grace?
Woo. Just as long as y'all don't unsubscribe after hearing me talk.
Okay. No. Y'all need to hear difference of opinions, because where else you gonna hear from?
Exactly.
Do y'all have any friends that are atheists? I ain't think so.
And I'm definitely open to any discussion. I always have interviews. I always have conversations with people. I welcome that.
That is one thing. That's another reason why I wanted you to be on the episode, because you've been doing this, just not like on camera. You are speaking to people, interviewing them, getting their take on religion, and explaining to them what being an atheist is, but you're not trying to convert anybody. You're just legitimately trying to see how other people's brains work, how other people's minds work. They might teach you something. You never know.
Exactly.
But I love that you do that. So you can give the people your information, let them know how they can reach out to you on like social media or, whatever platform you want to share.
Yes, I am not a very avid user of social media, so you won't see much there. But if you want to email me about all things atheism or religion and have a talk with me about that, you can email me at benevolentheretic@gmail.com. BENEVOLENTHERETIC@gmail.com. I will be glad to have that conversation with you. We can talk.
Yes, come on, Hooked on Phonics. Yes. And I'll put it down below so that you guys can reach out to my friend Mon. Oh, and you also do are you still doing oils and hair products and stuff like that? Or is that just personal?
I am about to start again. I will be making all natural soaps, body butters, deep conditioners, and hair creams.
I'm gonna have to get on the mailing list.
Yeah. Yes.
Come on, hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Mon, for joining us today. Y'all reach out to him regarding any questions you have about atheism, or if you just want to talk, pick somebody's brain. Reach out to him. And if you want to know more about the body butters and the oils and all of those things, reach out to him as well and tell him who sent you. The CEEasefire Podcast. Yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye.